Pam Heller, AccuQuilt's cutting expert, and I'm joined today by Erica, our corporate marketing specialist. We're here to talk about the Go Basket of Lilies block on board.
That is right, and we want to introduce you to this great die and share our tips for cutting and sewing this classic block. We also want to show you how to put together our beautiful Go Delicate Dozen wall hanging that's hanging behind us.
So pretty.
So
it's
pretty.
So pretty. All right, quilters, let's start by taking a look at this block that you can make with this die. It is so stunning. It's a traditional block that's often made with foundation paper piecing and needle turn applique. But this die makes it so much easier to put it together.
Oh, that is so right, Pam.
Yes.
There are a lot of pieces in this 12-inch finished block, but all have that 1/4-inch seam allowance built in. They all have those specialized dog ears, so they line up perfectly and help you put them together. Now this die is screen printed. Pam's got one here.
Right.
And it's going to help with those letters. You keep track of your pieces too.
Oh, absolutely. And I love the fact that that screen printing is going to allow you to cut all of the pieces and then you know which pieces they are.
Yes, and we'll go through that a little bit.
Right. Quilters, there are great step-by-step directions for putting this block together on the packaging. And it's also available for a free download at AccuQuilt.com. And we have 3 shapes on here that are actually for embroidery shapes.
Yes.
So we have free embroidery downloads for that stem block at AccuQuilt.com.
You know, we know what you're thinking.
We do.
There are Y seams in this block. And while this isn't maybe a beginner block, it's not an impossible block. It's really not. If you're up for a little bit of a challenge, maybe learning a new skill,
yes,
this die is perfect for you. We even have a video that Pam and I have put together showing some of our favorite tips for showing those Y seams. But be sure to check it out on YouTube or our website if you want any tips on that. And we're going to go through it here in this video as well.
We are. Now listen, don't worry if you have a little bit of just quilting experience under your belt. So long as you've mastered sewing a 1/4-inch seam, you will be able to put this block together perfectly. Now, Y seams aren't that hard, and Eric and I are here to help you.
It's all right. We're here to get you through this, okay? So let's dive in and take a look at the die and start cutting. Now, there are full cutting and assembly directions, like Pam said, in that downloadable pattern. You may also want to pause the video and download the pattern right now so you can kind of follow along with us as we go.
That's a great idea. All right, quilters, let's take a closer look at the project you can make using this die. Oh, so Erica, I love how the bright colors in this particular block give it such a fresh and modern look, and it's such a traditional pattern.
And the batiks really lend to that too, I think, Pam.
I do. I think it's just stunning.
I do too.
All right, quilters, now the pieces on our die board are actually grouped together by color, right?
Yes.
So this section here is all one color.
Yes.
These 2 sections are all one color, right? Our stems and these little pieces right here are the green. And then this is one color and these are one color.
Yes.
Right? So we've separated it on the die board so that you can follow those subcutting instructions, right?
Right.
Okay.
So let's look at the die with the fabric on it now. I think it's going to make more sense to people.
All right. So first of all, we've taken our white and we've covered these sections here. Okay. And then these 2 shapes we covered with the white as well. So here's those 2 pieces of green and our stems. Now, Erica, talk to me about this.
Okay, so this is one of our great pro tips on this. So the stems, we have 3 stems that you need on your block.
Right.
You've got the one up the middle, and then you've got one that goes either direction.
Right.
Well, there's only 2 on the die board, right?
Right.
So what you're going to want to do is fuse your fabric.
Right.
And then you're going to want to lay your fabric either right side up or right side down. You need to fan fold over the curved stem. You don't need to fan fold over the other one, but if you do, it's not going to hurt anything because it is just a straight stem. By doing this, then you're going to have those 2 directions of stems for that center block.
Excellent. And remember, once you pre-fuse that fabric, you don't have to worry about lengthwise screen.
That's right.
Right?
Now this is a 10 by 24 die board, so that means it's going to work with a Go cutter, a Go Big cutter, or a Studio with the appropriate adapter.
Right.
Okay, and you want to use the right size cutting mat as well. So we've got a 10 by 24 cutting mat here as well. So we've talked a little bit about the cutting, so I think that we're about ready to do that. But I also wanted to share another pro tip. We decided to make a design board for this block. So we took a piece of foam core and we cut out the shapes with cardstock.
Yes.
And then what we did was go ahead, let me get some of these off so you can see what we've done. We went ahead and traced those shapes onto our foam core,
right,
so that then you can take the pieces off and lay them out and help you keep track of them, because each Lily unit in the block is a little different.
Right, and we do have some mirrored images, so G and GR are mirrored images.
Right, and you want to keep your colors straight and your placement straight. So it's really important to keep track of your pieces. Now you could also cover this with flannel or some used batting.
Okay.
That way your pieces would stick a little bit better than on our foam cord. And if it flies all over, you're going to be sad.
Yeah. So this was a great idea. So it really is going to help you keep your pieces organized. So as you sew these little sections together, you're going to know which shape is which shape.
That's right.
All right, let's cut some fabric. Shall we do that?
All right.
All right. Now again, quilters, I'm using my Go Big, but this die would also fit in your Go fabric cutter or your Studio cutter with the appropriate adapter.
That's right. Now, I know you've heard this before, but you want to make a test block with this one, don't you, Pam?
Yes.
We have made more than one. Be sure you check your seam allowance and have those steps handy to practice those Y seams.
Right.
And yes, I think we both made more than one test block out of this one, didn't we?
We did. And I love the idea about making test blocks to practice those Y seams.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
and then hang on to them. You could use them for pillows or for lots of little projects.
Right.
So, but yes, you will see when you look at the pieces, each lily is laid out just a little bit differently. You know, we've got the square is in the corner here, but it's on the side and then the other side.
Right. And
so
the
you
mirror
want to
image.
keep track. Yeah.
Okay, it's come through our cutter. A little bit of static is built up, so I'm going to slide this mat don't left.
Right.
Okay, and now I'm just going to peel back my pieces. Now, this is not a Band-Aid. Don't just rip it off.
And we just cut out like 1 or 2 layers.
Right.
We didn't cut out a whole block because I've got all kinds of step outs over here we're going to show you along the way.
Right. And remember, you can always cut 6 layers of quilting cotton.
That's right.
Okay. I love these colors of the batik.
I do too.
This was really a fun block to put together.
So cute.
Okay.
And the baskets, there's those great
Those little circles on it.
teaks.
I
So
love it.
cute. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Again, this is one of those times, read the pattern. Read the pattern, okay? And we're gonna talk about another pro tip. Before you get started sewing, you really wanna mark that 1/4" seam intersection.
You know you do.
Right before you start sewing. Take the time, don't eyeball it. We have our pens and we have a little 1/4" ruler here, okay? And I'm gonna tell you that those are the Y seams that are come together perfectly.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay. So you want to look for your marking. You're going to look for those places that are going to be the Y seam. So it's going to be here on our little diamond units.
Right.
So this seam, this seam, this seam, those are the ones on each one of those flower units that you're going to want to mark. So Pam, how about I give you a piece and you show us how to mark?
Yes. Okay. So we're going to sew these 2 pieces together. Right, and then we're going to add that corner piece.
So we're going to want to mark the 1/4" at this end, but we're going to want to sew all the way to the tip on this end.
Right. So I'm going to take my good 1/4" ruler here, okay, and I'm just going to mark right here from the bottom where it is a 1/4 inch. And again, quilters, don't eyeball it.
No. A lot of people will. I just feel like I get better results when I do that marking.
Yes, I do too.
It's just that little bit of marking and it makes such a difference.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do the same on this side. So I'm going to mark a 1/4 inch down, right?
Right.
Okay. And this is great because our little board here lets us put our pieces right back where they belong. Okay, all right, perfect. Okay, so there we go, and there we go.
Okay, and then we want to mark this side too because we're gonna be sewing the other side as well.
Okay.
So we're gonna mark all those sides.
And this is exactly the process that Erica and I did when we were doing it.
We did, because we looked at it and we're like, okay, that one's marked. Oh wait, we have to mark the other one too, don't we? So we went ahead and marked that.
Okay.
And I think you're using the little clover.
I am, our little clover marker here.
And Pam and I both like using a fine tip on that.
We do. All right, perfect. And now we're just going to put them together.
Okay, I'm going to sew this one together.
Okay, you go for it, girl.
I'm going to line them up. And again, this is where those specialized dog ears show up so perfectly. And you know me, I'm going to reach over here and I'm going to grab a pin.
Yeah, I'm not usually a pinner, but boy, howdy, I'm going to pin these.
And you know, one of the reasons why is because my eyes aren't as young as they used to be.
Yes.
And I just want to make sure I hit that 1/4 inch mark. It's really pivotal to the whole thing.
Right. And again, quilters, you want to do all of your marking on all of your pieces before you start to sew. Okay.
So we're gonna just put that down. Now here's the other thing, and I'm gonna
make sure you have a good 1/4 inch foot on there.
Yep. You know, you and your 1/4 inch need to be good friends for this.
You need to be happy.
And
now,
we're also gonna say to back stitch.
Right. I just do like 1 or 2 stitches.
You just want to secure it up where that Y seam's gonna go. It's gonna help you feel better about life later on.
It is. Now what Erica sews, I'm going to tell you, I just love the bold look of this quilt with bright colors. I have seen traditional blocks where they were kind of homespun or muted colors, and this is just amazing. I love this. Okay, now, do you want me to press that seam open?
No. I know. Actually, we're going to leave these seams unpressed until we complete the Y seams, and then we're going to talk about how we do that.
Excellent.
So we've already started some units over here.
Okay.
This is the one that I just sewed. Here's one that's also sewn, and you can see where we've left that 1/4 inch, okay?
Right.
Now, we're going to be ready then to sew this square piece into the corner.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So just like that, we're going to sew that square into the corner. So now that we've got that, we're going to go ahead and sew that in. But if I go, sometimes I like to go like this.
Oh, I do this trick.
So you go ahead and lay it down like a book.
Yes.
And we've got our seam allowance right here, just like it came off the sewing machine.
Right.
And take your tip and fold it down. Now, I'm going to go ahead and line this up.
Look how perfect that works.
Look how perfect that works.
We cut off those dog ears
now,
for you.
I'm not even going to have to mark this one.
Nope.
But I'm going to kind of score it with my finger. And yeah,
Where's your pin?
I'm
Here's
going
the
to
pin.
use a pin. I
There you
left
go.
it over here. Oh, it even matches. Look at that.
Oh, I love it when it works out.
You're going to kind of see the difference, and you can kind of feel the difference.
Right.
If you like to sew with like a stiletto or something, that can help you find that too. Because what we're going to do is start on the outer edge, sew down to this where that fold is.
Right.
Stop and back stitch.
Okay, so again, quilter, she's just adding this square here into the corner. But I do love that little trick about pretend it's a book and fold it down. I do that trick all the time.
Yes.
And that way I make sure that I'm doing the right section.
Right. Absolutely. So then we get that. Now the trick is you don't want to get that seam allowance caught in your seams.
Right.
And now we're ready. We can just go ahead and sew the other side. We're going to pull this out of the way.
Yes, because often I have sewn over that.
Often, yes.
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 Okay.
So we're going to just pull that together.
And
We're
again,
gonna
it's
get
going to
this
work
over here.
perfectly because we've cut off the dog
Yep.
ears in the back.
Yep.
And I typically, Erica, start from the center of that Y seam and work my way out.
You can do either one. There are so many different ways. I usually, and then on the center, yeah, I'm going to start now in the center and work down. And you can get right next to those seams, but not on top of those stitches.
Excellent.
You don't want to sew through those stitches. You're better to be short than long, right?
Yes. So when Erica gets down to that point, she's going to stop sewing and backstitch to secure that seam. Quilters, this is a marathon, not a sprint. So slow down here, okay? It's better to stop short, right?
That's
than run
right.
that seam
That's
over.
right. You can always go back and add a stitch if you need to, because I've been known to do that.
Right.
Okay, kind of messed up my back up on that. Oh, no, I didn't.
No, you did great.
It's perfect.
Okay,
So there we go.
ta-da, ta-da.
So it's just like the one that we've got over here.
Right. And how did we press this one over?
So went ahead, folded it over. Now that we had this one, press the bottom, kind of that stem of the Y open.
Okay.
And then I find that this side just naturally wants to press down. Don't you?
I think so too, yes.
So open this up and press it, then press that.
Now we're going to use our little clover iron here, a little mini iron, and I find that this is a great way to press these pieces, right?
Yes.
And we have our little mat.
Yes. So we've got our block we're building here. We've done this part of it.
Okay.
Now we would do the other part the same way.
Okay.
And then when you put it together, again, we're the same way. We've got one more Y seam. We've left this open. We're going to sew this piece in here. And this is a triangle, not a square, but it's going to go together just the same way, isn't
Right.
it?
Yes.
So we're going to
Yes.
start again up here. And this is where those dog ears come in so invaluable. Look at that. It's just lining up perfectly.
Right.
You can put a pin in just to make sure nobody goes stray.
Nobody goes crazy.
Nobody goes stray. And just pulling this out of the way, you can see exactly, you'll feel exactly where that little bump is.
Right.
Take your pin and mark it for yourself. Keep yourself on the straight and narrow that way.
And I love how we just keep repeating this process.
Right,
Right? And so we're going to sew blocks together, and we're going to add either the square or the triangle, all right? And again, now we're going to just be sewing more Y seams. So again, you want to sew from that mark where it's that 1/4 inch mark you made earlier. And again, that's why you want to mark all of your pieces before you start.
And it's just easier, I think, if you do.
I do too, and I find that it's not that big of a deal, right? I mean, I just mark them and then I leave them here.
It's not. We're going to pull it off. I hate all the extra threads.
Oh, that's all
So
right.
we've got our first side. Now
Right.
we're going to open it up. We're going to flip it over. Again, look how well that's lining
Look
up,
how
Pam.
perfect that is.
Love
Good job.
it. It's going to meet right down here perfectly as well.
Yep.
We can do just a little pin there if we want to, but here at least we're going to see where our seam is, right?
Right. Now, quilters, don't stress about Y seams. We put together an entire video only about Y seams, so be sure and check it out. Now, once your 3 lily units are sewn together and pressed, Erica is going to talk about how we can sew those green sections, which are those little stems, onto the bottom.
Right, so let's get this down. I'm going to give us one quick back stitch. Okay.
I love how we matched the lilies.
We did, isn't that fun? Okay, put that back in our pin
Okay.
cushion, and there we go.
Ta-da, ta-da.
Ta-da, ta-da. Yeah.
So again, we're gonna press the seam open right here in the middle, and then we're gonna just press to the
press
downside.
to the downside.
Yep.
Which is different than pressing to the dark side.
I know.
Although in this case it is pressing to the dark side.
It is.
So once you get to then you want to do your stem block. And again, we fan folded, so we've got our stems going the different ways. Go ahead and play with your layout, and you can do this different ways. Now we put fusible on it, and
We
I
did.
recommend doing that. I went ahead when I made mine and fused it down and just did raw edge applique.
Yeah, and that's great. If you don't have an embroidery machine, no
Yeah.
worries. You can just do raw edge applique. You could do decorative stitch from your machine
sure.
if you want.
However, if you do have an embroidery machine, we do have free downloadable embroidery. That's like a $20 value.
Yes.
To go ahead and stitch these out for you. So,
Excellent.
and we've got a video that'll show you exactly how to do that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
So once you had your stem unit done and you've got your 3 lily units done, we'd go ahead and sew each lily unit to each side
Right, like
of
we
your
did here.
stem, just like we did there.
Right.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay, and then we're gonna sew this shape, which is shape D, and there are 2 of them.
Right.
And we're going to sew them to the opposite sides of this top lily.
Right.
That's how we're going to put that block
so
together.
that's how we're going to put that block together.
Okay. And I'm going to tell you, quilters, that you want to press towards, when we're looking here at this basket, we want to press towards the basket rather than towards the lilies.
Right. So again, we're building this kind of like a block on point. So if we look at our block, we've got, once we've got this center section done, so 2 lilies and a stem unit.
Right.
Then we've got our top lily with our D pieces on
Right.
either side. Then we're going to start building that basket, which is going to move down here, and this is going to be our shape I. Okay?
Okay.
So shape I then is going to go on the bottom of this. So now we've got this much of our block.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That makes sense. Sure.
The next step then is going to be to sew these triangle and rectangle units together.
Okay. And so these are shape H and E. Okay.
Then those pieces are going to sew along the sides
Okay.
to finish forming that basket.
Oh.
You got, does that make sense?
Yes, this is making very good sense.
So this is making good sense now. We love it when it makes sense.
Yes.
So the last step is going to be sewing shape F to that bottom corner, and then you're going to be complete. Now, as we mentioned, this isn't a beginner block, so this isn't the first quilt that you want to make, okay? But if you take your time, you mark those 1/4 inch points, lay out your block, they're all going to go together beautifully for you.
They are.
You are only going to need to complete 4 blocks to make this wall hanging. So really, it's not going to be the undertaking you might think it is.
Right, and I'm going to tell our quilters, once we've marked our lilies in that 1/4 inch seam, just chain piece.
Yes.
Right, as you're trying to put those together.
It's a great way to really feel like a Y seam expert.
Yes. And once your blocks are done, you're going to use your 1.5 inch strip die to cut that black sashing and cornerstones. Then you're going to add a 2.5 inch outer border. The top is finished and it's ready to quilt.
So sandwich together your top, your batting, and your backing, pin or baste, and quilt. Finish it off with your favorite binding method, and don't forget to miter those corners.
Always. Now, quilters, we know that you're going to enjoy the challenge of making this beautiful classic block and using it to make so many projects. Because at AccuQuilt, we help you cut time
So you can quilt more.